Prince William cannot stand Meghan Markle. Just trust me on this. I've reported this story for a long time. This isn't just mild dislike, it is all out hatred. And that's why, even though people are going totally crazy about the fact the future king will appear on Clarkson's farm, the hit Amazon show, of course, starring Jeremy Clarkson, one of Meghan Markle's sworn enemies, is purposeful. He absolutely wants to do it because he cannot stand this woman. So Nelly posted on this, Jeremy Clarkson, I dream of Meghan Markle being dragged through the streets with feces thrown at her. Prince William, hi Jeremy, big fan of yours. Can I be at your show? Well, yes. Yes, that is what he's doing. He knows the repercussions. He wants to be connected publicly with Jeremy Clarkson, just like Camilla, the Queen, has been connected with Jeremy Clarkson. A reminder, by the way, that the Clarkson column that appeared in The Sun and caused a hysterical reaction at the time, with ITV and Amazon distancing themselves from the great man, was a joke. It was facetious. It was tongue-in-cheek. That's how he writes, but I will read it out to you so you have the full concept. He said, at night, I am unable to sleep as I lie there, grinning at the thought of all the things I'd like to do to her. I hate her on a cellular level. He then went on to describe a scenario inspired by the Game of Thrones series, imagining Meghan being publicly humiliated, writing, I dream of the day when she is paraded naked through the streets of every town in Britain while the crowds chant shame and throw excrement at her. Now, of course, if that was written by a more serious columnist and people took it literally, then maybe it would be fair enough for there to be that outrage. But actually, everyone knows Clarkson's shtick, and it was a confected outrage. I do note, by the way, despite saying they would, neither ITV or Amazon have sacked him. So, yes, what Prince William is doing is deliberate. Angela Levin, our royal mastermind, joins me now. Angela, there has been outrage about this. I mean, Fem Gra wrote on X, why is Prince William teaming up with a man who publicly fantasized about Meghan Sussex's humiliation? So the fact that this person calls her Meghan Sussex, I think immediately shows where her loyalties lie, because I think that's ludicrous. But do you think he's done anything wrong here?
No, I don't actually. And I think that he's entitled to join his farm, and that's what he wanted to do just for one occasion. And he wanted to find out as well what the mental health is like of the farmers, because some of them are really, really struggling at the moment. So why on earth should he care two hoots about Meghan? The fact is, Meghan has been so rude to so many people, or she's covered it and let Harry do it instead, but she's the one who's got it going. And I think it doesn't make a difference at all. I mean, he's just, she almost doesn't appear to Prince William. And I think that's fine, because she's also destroyed his brother. I think that he thinks that. You probably think that. And she's brought out all the worst things in him. So if he wants to join this extraordinary farm that he has, then why shouldn't he? Simple.
Well, I actually agree, Angela. And the thing is, right, Jeremy Clarkson is an equal opportunity slagger offer of the royals. Do you remember this, right? When Prince William hugged Mike Tyndall, I think it was after a polo event, and Jeremy Clarkson mocked them for it, right? Because he's a bloke, and he said, oh, why are the two royal men hugging? They shouldn't be doing that. Now, there wasn't big outrage over that, was there? There was only outrage over the Meghan Markle thing.
Yeah, because she's got all those people who would now call her Sussex, herself Sussex. So you know immediately where they come from and who they like. But I think he's not the most delightful man to be with, and he doesn't pretend to be. He can be quite rude and say what he thinks. Sometimes he says it without even checking in his head what he's doing. But that's him. If you don't like him, stay away. If somebody does like him, you know, they go to him. But I don't think for a second they should consider what Meghan would like and how he's been to Meghan.
No, he's a true original. And the thing about Jeremy Clarkson, Angela, is that he has been absolutely incredible standing up for the rights of British farmers. And Clarkson's farm has actually probably raised more awareness of the plight of farmers and how difficult the job is than anything else in modern history. And I think farmers are incredible. And I think the wokerati, which is led by people like Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, have been trying to destroy farmers because all of the climate change hysteria, which we know Harry and Meghan promote, even though they catch private jets themselves to the biggest hypocrites in the world, is destroying farmers. So good on William for doing that. But Angela, can we just take a moment to, I guess, contextualize why William does have a hatred for Meghan? Because she has torn his family apart. And after doing that, she didn't think that was enough. She then wanted to destroy the reputation of Catherine, the Princess of Wales. She released, via Prince Harry's spare, private messages sent between the Duchess and the Princess. I mean, come on. Harry and Meghan have stooped to lows in regards to William and Catherine that were previously unthinkable, especially, by the way, given the way that William stood up for Harry and stood by Harry despite his reservations over every scandal. You know, the Nazi scandal, the Naked in Vegas scandal, the works.
He's looked after Harry since he was a little baby. I mean, he felt very grown up. He's a responsible person. He's been that since William was a child. And he's wanted to save Harry or help Harry all the time. And this is what he's got. And I think as well that, you know, he adores his wife. And it's more painful if someone attacks your wife or your husband than if it's you. You can take it yourself often. But if you say something to your wife, and Catherine has worked very hard and she's fitted in brilliantly and she's given up a lot of the things that you have to give up if you're a princess in the royal family. And I think that it's just beyond words, actually. It's absolutely disgusting. So he's very annoyed. She goes for the negative, Meghan, as we know, for a long time now. And so why on earth should she be counted in anything?
I know. And the thing is, Angela, there will be a lot of people who are saying, oh, William didn't know what he was doing. But like, he did know what he was doing. You know, he's not trying to hide his hatred of Meghan Markle. And that's probably not what the royal rota will say, but I'm just stating the truth because, you know, that's what I do here. Now, can we talk about... Oh, sorry.
I think the word hate might not be absolutely right. I think he sort of doesn't want anything to do with her, doesn't care about her. He's not interested in her one bit. I don't know that he's a hating person. But what he wants is that I don't want anything to do with her. And I think that's along the same lines, but it doesn't sound as bad. And I think...
No, I do know what you're saying, Angela. And I guess maybe how I would phrase it is that he hates what she has done to the royal family. He hates what she has done to her brother. Let me put it that way, rather than saying he hates.
Sorry to change that.
No. I do think that is a better way of putting it, actually, because you're right. William isn't really a hateful person, but he does hate her actions. Absolutely. Now, can we talk about Meghan's scam jam? Because, you know, if you wanted to actually buy some good jam, I'd probably buy the Diddley Squat Farm strawberry jam, actually, Angela, because, you know, that's made on the farm and it's a genuine product. Meghan has now finally revealed how her jam is really made. And of course, not what she promised, lovingly at home. Let's have a look, Angela. Just normal factory, right? So she can try and say that it's all lovingly prepared, but very clearly, this is a mass-produced product.
I'm not entirely sure that she did this before or after somebody put a post on Instagram to say that the jam is made in a factory and the workers do the same as they do with any other jam. and everything else goes on the supermarket shelves. So maybe she very quickly came up with the film, but actually this is what it is. So what might be sold on the shelves to ordinary people might be, say, £2.50. And if Meghan's going to sell them with all this fancy doodling, they could end up with 20 quid. So I don't trust that for 1 minute.
No, indeed, Angela, neither do I. We also have this new cupcake video. You want to have a look at this too?
With pink.
Yeah, what do you think, Angela?
I
mean, people are saying, I mean, again, I'm not good in the kitchen, but people are saying this is all very basic too.
They look like long sausages, don't they, really? And very unpleasant. So,
but the grift goes on. The grift goes on.
Yes, it is. I mean, the thing is to pretend that she can cook. She can't. She says she can't bake. Those are things you bake. So either she didn't do it or she's made a mess of it. And so she doesn't know whether she's coming or going or how to sort of let herself be known to do something or not to do something. I mean, it doesn't matter if she doesn't cook it, but she's sort of half in, half out, as she wants to be with being royal, half in, half out. She doesn't know quite who she is. She is stuck. She didn't know how to behave. And it goes from the royal family to, well, they look like sausages.
Which is certainly
you're making me laugh.
It's not a pleasant thought, is it?
No, it isn't.
I mean, this is the thing. I find all of her food, Angela, genuinely so unappealing to look at. I mean, look, of course I will taste the scam jam. I think I'm a good judge of jam, and I will taste it. I'll give it a go. But it all looks so unappealing. It's like the banana split with Gwyneth Paltrow looked so unappealing as well. I don't think the food ever looks particularly good. And the social media strategy is just a total mess, like a complete mess. If you look at the grid, right? So, for example, this is the grid here. If we just take this shot of as ever, and all of it. I mean, I actually was reading from a food photographer who just said all of that just is a mess. It's a mess of a brand, and I have to agree. But look, Angela, since you've been,
it's a bit like her clothes, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
They're always a mess. They might be expensive, but she's actually a messy person.
But first, we've been told our whole lives that wrinkle creams were the easiest way to look younger. Now, one doctor says that's nothing but old news. According to Dr. John Lake, the world-renowned Beverly Hills beauty expert, most wrinkle fixers on the market are nothing but glorified moisturizers. He says they hardly make a dent on your appearance. Some, check this out, can even be harmful to your skin. Recently, Dr. Lake has focused his attention away from mainstream cosmetic practices so he can pursue a revolutionary anti-aging breakthrough, one that some experts say could empty the wallets of the cosmetic industry. He describes it as almost like Photoshop for your face and says you may even be mad after seeing how easy it is to visibly erase your wrinkles from view. His personal clients have dubbed his new do-it-yourself technique the age rewinder method because it can take years or even decades off your appearance in under 2 minutes. In light of this amazing breakthrough, Dr. Lake has released a step-by-step video to the public. It's free, it's uninterrupted, where he outlines exactly how to use this simple solution from home. And he says if it helps even one person look younger or feel more confident, he will be thrilled knowing he helped. The video has since gone viral. At first, it was shared by users on Facebook, but since then, it's racked up over 2.3 million views and counting. The comments and feedback have been outstanding, with thousands of women reporting they look decades younger. One even commented, "Best results of anything I've used. I can't believe how well this works. I'll never stop using this. I don't understand how it works, but the results are great. Thank you." So you can find out more about this yourself right now. Just go to bhmd1.com/outspoken. That's BH md1.com/outspoken, or click on the link in the description box below. Now, there is one thing Dr. Lake asks from his viewers. If watching this video helps you look and feel younger than you have in years, then please share this video with your friends and loved ones. Together, we have the power to help as many women reclaim a youthful look as possible. So go watch the video at bhmd1.com/outspoken right now, or just click on the link in the description box below. But now, back to the show. Angela, since you've been here last, one of the biggest scandals ever involving Prince Harry has broken. He is now no longer part of the Sentebale charity, which he founded in 2006 as a tribute to his late mother, the Princess of Wales, Princess Diana. Of course, the only other charity he founded was the Invictus Games. So this is a huge blow to Harry. Queer Lips of Truth posted in this saying Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are in serious crisis mode tonight. The expose on Sentebale is very serious. It all focuses, Angela, on Harry's fallout with this woman, Sophie Chandoka. And you'll remember she is the woman, and I think we should have a look at this actually again, Angela. She is the woman that Meghan Markle publicly humiliated. Let's listen.
Such a great day here at HATES Meghan. Again, a big thank you to all those who provided horses.
And of course, you know, Sophie Chandoka, a very accomplished woman, didn't like being embarrassed in that way. Her statement was utterly, utterly scathing of the charity founder, Prince Harry. She said, there are people in this world who behave as though they are above the law and mistreat people and then play the victim card and use the very press they disdain to harm people who have the courage to challenge their conduct. Beneath all the victim narrative and fiction that has been syndicated to press is the story of a woman, me, who dared to blow the whistle about issues of poor governance, weak executive management, abuse of power, bullying, harassment, misogyny, misogynar, and the cover-up that ensued. But of course, Angela, there are two sides of the story. You are Prince Harry's biographer. You followed him for well over a year and you know about this charity. So what is really going on?
Well, let me start at the beginning, which people often haven't said. It was Prince Charles who was trying desperately to find something for Harry to do in his year off after school. And he suggested to him that he went there to Africa, and he was with children who hadn't got parents because they'd died because of AIDS, and if he would like to do that. So he wasn't sure, but he went. And that was the change of his life then, because he absolutely adored it. He played with the children. And I don't think you've often seen a boy of 15 or 16 who would sit and hold a very small baby who didn't look well at all for maybe hours on end. I mean, he was very good at that, very patient, very caring. And the kids all loved him because he would play football with them. And there was one little boy, aged 4, who adored Harry. And Harry bought him some Wellingtons and he went to bed wearing them. He wouldn't actually take them off. And he and Harry became friends. And Harry invited him over to the UK, and he was at Harry and Meghan's wedding. So there were people there who he really loved. So I think the attack on him has to be looked at carefully. And I saw in the Times, really, that Baroness Chalker of Wallasey, who was a trustee for Prince Harry African Charity nearly 20 years, and she, a very highly regarded woman, said that it was actually not Harry's fault. It was Dr. Chanduka's fault. She's the one we saw at the polo thing. And she was impossible to work for. And so they all left. And then Harry left later with his friend who started it up with him, Prince Isiso. And so she's now taking them to court to go back. So it's a terrible mess, isn't it? I mean, I'm not sure. I'm sure I believe the Times, but it's quite interesting. She, Baroness Chalker, she was a Conservative MP for 20 years, an African minister for 8 years. So she does know what she's talking about. So I think all this needs to hang around for a bit until we really know what happens. But I'm not surprised he's absolutely devastated, because I think he feels probably devastated that Meghan wants him less and less in the spotlight, that she can get on without him, that she's saying she wants to be a billionaire on her own. It's nice. And that he has felt that he'd done very well there, and he did, because the children had no family, no parents, and he could give them lots of love. He did actually do that, and he told me how much he loves it, and he had no need to do that. And the things he said and the people he did, and he also did. He thought he'd learned to do lots of odd jobs, building fences and cooking dinners and washing everything up for people. I don't think he would say that or do that unless that was true. So I think we have to wait. But he is obviously very, very shocked by it.
Angela, you are very shocked and disgusted, though, by the way that Meghan Markle treated Dr. Chandoka at the Sentebale Polo Cup, aren't you? And it's, I think, important to remember they used that event to film for the polo show on Netflix. So did Netflix give money to Sentebale, for example? I hope so.
No, the polling game provided money for that, and that's what they mainly did. Him and William sometimes made money via polo matches. But Meghan, if you look at that, she wasn't involved at all, nothing. But she wanted to hang on to the award like nobody's business. Now, this is one of those questions which I've said several thousand times. Who on earth do you think you are? And to do that to a woman, even if she didn't know who she was, but I doubt that. But she was just determined that she has to be in the middle. We saw that in Los Angeles, didn't we, with all the fires? Never mind the fires, I have to stand in the middle where the picture's being taken. I mean, it's bonkers, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is. And this is a very accomplished woman, and she didn't like it. Now, Angela, growing concerns about King Charles after he was rushed to hospital yesterday afternoon. The palace, as they do, tried to play this down, although they embargoed the announcement until 9 p.m. last night. But Jenny Bond, the former BBC royal editor, appeared on GB News today, and her comments seem to suggest that Charles's health is in a bad way.
I really do feel for William. I mean, everyone gets worried about their dad when they're ill. He's had, as he says, a brutal year with not only his father's illness, but obviously Catherine's illness as well. Everyone might get worried about their dad. With William, the inevitable death of his father is going to completely change William's life. It's going to upend it. So that's a whole different ball game. So I'm sure he must be more concerned for himself and for his father than perhaps everyone else. But I suppose we should be somewhat reassured that William didn't come racing to his father's bedside.
Yeah, that is a good sign.
And I mean, neither did Queen Camilla, Angela, because we can look here. She was at an ITV event celebrating 70 years of the British broadcaster, and there she was at one of their dramas, and then she met with some of their daytime stars like Lorraine Kelly, Dermot O'Leary and Christine Lampard. So if it had been an emergency situation, you would have imagined she wouldn't have gone ahead with that event. However, I think it's just a reminder to all that King Charles is still undergoing this very, very difficult treatment for cancer which seems to be staying with him.
That's quite common, actually. I have 3 friends who have been on treatment for years, and what they can do now is actually give you the treatment that keeps you going. You always need it. You have to have it. Maybe like all sorts of things you don't want to have, but it does keep you going, and it doesn't mean it's going to kill you. It doesn't mean you're well. but it's something that they can manage for you. And I think that that seems to be what the king is having. I mean, I don't know, I'm not a doctor, but I know others who have had that. I don't think he would be out in a car. I've got the picture here on today, which is very quick. But the big deal is that Queen Camilla has to try very, very hard to stop him working, because he is absolutely wants to work all the time. And the more people he meets and the more people he understands and talks to, the happier he is. But you have to be careful. And so he is cancelled for today. He cancelled things for the week. But they do say that they can do the trip to Italy in just under 2 weeks. Now, I think that's just to make us feel okay, because often they do that to keep people not so worried. And then in a few days' time, they say, well, actually, no, that's not happening. So I think that, but he's 76, he works incredibly hard. So at one level, he is, he's got energy and wanting to do things. But anything can happen with someone of that age. That's how life is. And cancer is so unexpected and difficult that you don't know what it's going to be doing. It's like a naughty child that actually just, makes you feel very difficult. You see there, his eyes are a bit red, don't you?
Yeah.
But I
mean,
do
Angela,
think
there is a cruel irony, of course, arguably the cruelest irony, that here is a man who waited over 7 decades to fulfill the role that he wanted more than anything. Of course, he didn't want the death of his mother. Of course he didn't. But he waited his whole life to take the role. And you know how much he focused on his health, because he always wanted to live until an old age. And then just months after getting that role that he has been so determined to take, he's struck down by an illness that he probably will never be able to fully shake. And I just think that feels particularly cruel, because he is working hard. He does do a hell of a lot. But of course, you can't operate firing on all cylinders when you're battling cancer. You just can't. And stress is very bad for cancer.
Yes, I think that's why Harry needs to keep away, or they won't see him, because he doesn't want stress. And the Queen doesn't want him to have stress. You want Harry marching in, because he's only got 15 minutes to talk to his father and say, you still haven't said you're sorry to Meghan. I mean, that's not going to work. So he has to be calm and he has to be happy. And I think that you have to look after it. But the thing that he has known is that cancer is in the family. His grandfather died from cancer. Queen Elizabeth died from cancer. It is there. And that's the tragedy, that you are having something that you don't deserve, that actually belongs to the family, dreadfully unhappy. But we shall have to see. But I think that it is serious. Even if they say not, it was tagged on to his weekly inspection. I don't think that that's really what happened. I think that he had to go there, or even if he did, something was quite wrong that they had to look at. I think he's very lucky to have come back, because if it was serious, they would have kept him there. But what we have to see is how open it is. It's not, his mother didn't say very much, and his grandfather certainly didn't. And I think this time it is quite a lot because of what happened to Catherine, that people were shouting and thinking up all sorts of things about her, that she was dead and someone else was dressed as she was, which was absolutely hell on earth for her. But so he wanted to say what it was and to be clear of it. But the other comforting thing is that he and Catherine know what it's like to have cancer. They might not have the same one, but they have the feeling that they know they've got it. And I think that they have become I know they've become very, very close together because they can really talk about it. And lucky people like you and me don't know what it feels like. And so to have someone who understands what you feel and the times you feel tired or difficult or anything will be there for you. And I'm sure that they will be, she will comfort him and be very kind. And they're very close now. And so that will be comforting for him.
Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go wherever you are.